welcome to my knitting podcast. My name is Monika, and this is episode 16. Yeah, I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is a sweater that my mom knit for me. It's called Blomstring I Setesdal. I have the pattern here. By syskrin. I have a copy of the pattern that my mom lent me. If I'm ever gonna actually knit this pattern, I'm gonna buy it myself, but this was more one to give me the name of the pattern because I keep forgetting, but also because when I started writing my own knitting patterns, I needed to see how other people wrote their knitting patterns, because up until last summer I had never followed the pattern before. Neither a paid for nor a free pattern. I had always just knit out of my own head. So yeah, my mom gave me that pattern and some other patterns just to see how people structure their notes. And I haven't knit from any of the patterns that she lent me. Just want to point that out. I do not condone stealing patterns, using them as references to how you would write your own patterns, not taking their patterns and writing them down, but I can see that they talk about the color first, and they have a section about the color work, or perhaps they have taken the way you're doing the raglan out of the written pattern and put that in like a little box. Like, this is how you do the raglan increases, and then in the pattern where they tell you to do the raglan increases, you just say do the raglan increases. And seeing how people structure the patterns and trying to see what kind of style I like has been an immense help. I do prefer my patterns to be quite short, concise, not necessarily very beginner friendly, I guess. So yeah, that's beside the point. The point was that I have gotten the pattern for this sweater from my mom, or I'm borrowing it, so I can finally actually remember the name of the pattern, which is Blomstring I Setesdal. That is clearly a Norwegian name. It will translate to something along the lines of flowering in Setesdal, which is a place. So yeah, that's what I know about this pattern. My mom has followed most of the pattern, though I do think there's supposed to be more embroidery around this flower in the original pattern. But she has followed the original pattern for the colorwork, and just not done all of the embellishments you're supposed to do afterwards. She has done the little pearls and the crocheted chain thing you're supposed to do at some place. You might be able to see the pearls on the sleeve, and also those little pink flowers with a pearl in the middle, and these stripes are crocheted on this grey one too. So yeah, I don't know how this pattern is to actually follow when you knit it, because as I've said, this is a pattern that my mom knit. She knit it for herself, but what usually do happen with knitters that knit a lot, she ended up with a lot of sweaters. So she decided to give some away, some she gave to me, some she gave to some of my sisters. Yeah, we do all have at least one or two of my mom's sweaters and my grandma's sweaters. I do actually think I might be the one with the most sweaters from the two of them. Mostly because I didn't used to knit sweaters. That's a relatively new thing for me. I started last year knitting sweaters. I have knit a lot previously, but sweaters are new for me. Yeah. I kind of forgot to talk about the new, well, setting, I guess. You have seen this room before. This is my office and craft room, but usually this bookshelf is right here in the corner, and my computer screen is over here, and I usually sit in my computer chair. And then I have this very naked wall right over here, and it just looked empty, I guess. And I also wanted to sit a bit more comfortable because the hydraulics on my computer chair, it's broken. So quite often it just suddenly starts falling. And I haven't been able to make it fall before I start working. It always kind of like gradually moves toward the floor. But yes. So I have rearranged my yarn stash. Mostly because I wanted all my yarn and knitting related stuff to be contained in one spot. You can't see the bottom shelf nor the two top ones. You can barely see this one. So yeah, I will figure out whether or not I like this setup. It is a bit of effort to set it up because this chair is usually in the living room, and moving it in here was a bit of a hassle. And I can't stay here forever because this room is not wide enough to be able to have both the table that's in front of me, that's my computer table, and this chair and the computer chair. It will just not be enough space, and also the window that's here that I'm trying to not show on podcasts is also fire exit, I guess is the English word. Rømningsvei. So yeah. It's a new setup, I'm trying it out. I don't know if it's gonna stick. I thought I would sit more comfortable, but to be honest, I feel like I kind of had to like lean forward to actually be like ready for action, kind of. Yeah, I don't know. And also my cat's been nagging quite a lot for the last hour while I was like cleaning in here. So I had to let her into the room, but that also meant I had to close the door. And at the moment she's sleeping quietly on a pillow at the floor. But I don't know how long that's gonna be the situation. Yeah, I think she missed me. She's used to me having a lot of home office, but I've only had one day of home office since I started the new job, and that was because I had to take her to the vet. And she did not forgive me that day. She did not enjoy me having home office when she had to go to the vet. Anyway, I've talked about the space, I've talked about the sweater I'm wearing. I can start, or rather continue, now with some finished objects. And I'm actually very, very excited because last time I said I was really hoping to be done with both of these projects, and I did, and that's just such a good feeling. But I can start with the first one. This is my mini scarf. It is Petite Knit inspired, though I don't own her pattern, so I do not know if this correlates at all. But I am very, very pleased. It, I have already used it once, I just had to, and yeah. This yarn is Babyull Lanett, and I do think I used 3mm needles when I knit this up, or maybe 2.5. I will have it on the screen somewhere. I don't know if I'm still gonna have the information down here where I usually do, which will be to your right, not left. I don't know until I start editing the video, then I will know whether or not it's a good idea to keep the text the same space, or if the background is too noisy, or all of that. But I will have listed the needles and the yarn. It is Babyull Lanett, and the colorway is red. And all in all, I'm very, very happy. I blocked it. It was super quick when it came to drying. I finished this on that was Saturday. Yes, I finished this on Saturday, quite early in the morning, because I was working on this Friday night after we went to the work party, or rather my previous job's work party. They had invited me and my husband to come along as a goodbye party, and the Friday was so long. We got up real early to make sure we actually had a full day at work before going out to eat with my previous job, and we were super exhausted, so we didn't stick with the party after the dinner. We just left for home, and I was trying so hard to knit this up on Friday before going to bed, and I think I only had like this much left, and I just couldn't keep my eyes open. I just had to go to bed, and I do not regret that at all, because finishing this very early on Saturday before we went to the store to meet my grandparents was very, very satisfying. Just finishing it, knowing it was done, and then the rest of the day in between because my grandma and my husband, they love cooking together, so they had planned a whole day of cooking, but that meant that me and my grandpa had to also like not work, but we had to be like included in the activities. So the four of us went to the store together to get everything we needed for the food and the cooking, and then while my husband and my grandma was cooking, me and my grandpa was sitting in the living room. He was doing crossword puzzles and I was knitting, and it was very cozy. And like every hour or so perhaps, we had a break where we ate the things my husband and grandma had made. None of the things they had made before, if I remember correctly. No, one of the things. But yeah. So we had like small courses that they were like trying out and seeing if it's worthwhile together. And it was like the whole day was just eating, but it was really cozy, and me and my grandpa got to talk a lot and also just relax, which was very much needed for all of us, to be honest. And my husband and my grandma had so much fun trying out all these recipes. So yeah, I think also a few of them we will repeat later. They were quite fun because the things that I preferred were not the same things my grandpa or my grandma preferred. So we can like sit around and like, oh, I really like this taste with this, and they were like, yeah, and I like this with this, and just yeah, it was very, very cozy. But of course, having a full weekend this weekend too, the Sunday, it was really, really good not doing anything. But even before Sunday even rolled around, I finished a second object. And I think it was the ball rolling with the scarf that made it possible. Because I don't think I would have been able to finish these socks if I wasn't already in a finishing mood, to be quite honest. This finished object has been a lingering whip since September, and I've been struggling so hard getting it done. So this pair of socks are well, yeah, it's made out of Mrs. Fox Gritty Merino and Life in the Long Grass singles. The purple is the glittered merino, and it's the colorway Kald Skulder or Cold Shoulder, while the Life in the Long Grass, the peach color, is Angel City. This socks fit so well. They do have slightly short leg, but I do prefer that for very tight fitting socks. The only thing that I should have thought about earlier was that I did the gusset decreases. I don't know how easy to see. Yeah, there. The gusset decreases, I did them too often to begin with, so they're a bit too tight right around that spot. But other than that, they fit so well. So I have finally figured out how to do a proper pair for me, but I did not enjoy knitting this pair. So I'm thinking, even though I now have figured out that I can knit myself the perfect pair if I use 2mm needles and 64 stitches, I think I'm gonna try and go back to 2.5mm needles and rather decrease the amount of stitches down to 56. Just because I think the needles were too small. I think I didn't enjoy it because of that. The last two pairs that I knit in this exact yarn, they just flew off the needles in comparison. And this one's just took so long. The reason why I don't have the previous two pairs in this yarn is because they were too big for me. I did use 64 stitches. The first one I think I did 3mm needles, and the second pair I used 2.5, because I'm not that familiar with actually using fingering weight sock yarn to knit socks. I usually knit actually with this yarn. And it's a bit thicker. It recommends 3 to 3.5mm needles. It's this is Alpaca Forte. This is the yarn I usually knit socks in, but they do get significantly thicker. These are like good, warm, nice wool socks. So I was used to knitting on 3mm needles when I knit socks, and they flew off the needles and everything was like good, though they were a bit loose, because in my eyes they are like house socks and not inside your shoe socks necessarily, though I have very small feet, so I am struggling finding shoes in proper size for me. So I don't mind that I'm having a bit of a thicker sock inside the shoes, because it would like tighten the fit of the shoe a tiny bit. Yeah, but I wanted a more fitted pair. I have size 35.5 in EU sizing, shoe sizes. I don't know if that tells you anything at all. I think in the UK I have size 3. Why we can't have standard shoe size, I don't know. Would be super easy to just use the length of your foot or something, because I know that the length of my foot is 25 centimeters. So yeah, but I always have to like look at the shoe size chart to figure out what size I have to buy, and usually they end up too big. But that's why I'm knitting my own socks, and I've had this journey in the past year of trying to find the correct needle size and stitch count to get socks that fit me well. I must say, I really do love the fabric, especially the glittered. the Selena in these socks. It looks so pretty. I hope you can see the way it like sparkles. Yeah. So I really do enjoy the finished object, though I didn't enjoy the process with these socks. And usually when I don't enjoy the process, I rip it out and then forget about it. But I really wanted a pair of socks. And to be honest, I should just have cast on a new pair of under the oak socks. That's my own design. And knit them up with, yeah, this yarn. The one I just showed you, because this yarn, I know the stitch counts and everything works out for me. Yeah. Okay, those are the finished objects. I do have to cast on a new pair of socks. That was supposed to be my reward for finishing these ones, that I could pick any color I wanted. But I was like staring at my sock yarn collection for like an hour yesterday, trying to figure out what kind of socks I want. And I think the problem is I'm very tired with vanilla socks. So perhaps I should try to do some cable pattern or something. Of course, then I would need to either increase the needle size or the stitch count, or maybe both, to make sure they would actually fit. It's been difficult. Yeah. So, I still haven't cast on a new pair of socks, but I'm gonna have to do that at some point if I do actually want more than one pair at a time. Actually, talking about socks, I did realize right before I started this podcast that I'm gonna have to mend a pair of socks again. I have them over here. I knit these socks last year, and I love these socks. They are super comfortable. They are also slightly loose, but also they're 100% wool. Peruvian Highland wool, I think. So they are not very durable. And I have been debating with myself, should I fix them or should I throw them away? Because the yarn I need to use to mend them is actually this one. So I know I have the yarn that I can mend them with, but this is the second time it's worn a hole straight through the heel. And I checked these socks because I hadn't worn them for quite a while, so I checked them before I wore them today. And they didn't have a hole. I don't even think it was I don't even think it was very worn. I think it looked fine. And then after a day of wearing them, I now have to fix the heel. And I'm honestly thinking like, yes, I do know that I love these socks. They're super comfortable, super warm because they're wool. But I think because this was before I started knitting with nylon, I knit them early last year, like really early last year, and I love this color combination. And before that, I just decided I wanted to knit a pair of socks with this wool because I didn't think I had enough for a sweater. Though I have figured I might have enough for a sweater. I have 4 white skeins, 1 red and 1 green. And I also do know I have some leftover black. So I do actually think it might be enough for a sweater for me. I could also just buy more of it because it's actually very nice yarn. It's Petunia or something like that. Pernilla, I knew it was something with P. It's Filcolana Pernilla. It's 100% Peruvian Highland wool. And I know the original amount I bought was because I was planning on knitting a Colorwork sweater, so I do know that the balls of yarn that were single colors I would have had more than enough for the sweater and had some leftovers, but I never ended up knitting that sweater. And instead I started stealing the wool to make socks and hats and I think maybe even a pair of leg warmers, which I also do need because on Friday I was shivering on the bus because I was wearing not tights but like stockings, that's the word, or like proper ones under my dress, and my legs got really cold and I didn't have any leg warmers. So yeah, I'm still debating on whether or not I'm gonna fix these because I feel like I wore them once and I have holes again, so. And I'm not happy with the mending I did last time, so I'm thinking that if I'm gonna have to fix the first heel, then I can fix the second heel too and mend it properly. But then again, both of them will just fall apart again. So I don't know, I'm on the fence with this. Maybe not all socks are made to be mended. I mean, if these ones get holes in them, because they're nylon, I do think I'm gonna get a lot of wear out of them before they get holes. Or at least I hope so, because they were a real pain to knit. And if I won't even have them last long, it would be such a waste. But yeah, that's the last I'm going to talk about socks, at least for now. And I have 2 whips to show. I'm going to stick with only show you things I've been working on, and though you will not notice this or feel this, I have changed up my schedule again. Last week I tried to film on Wednesday to have the video out on Saturday. Before that I used to film on Fridays and have it out on Saturdays. But since I've been so busy lately, I haven't been able to get it out at the time when I want it to be out. So I tried last week to film on Wednesday and edit it before everything happened, but I didn't have time. I didn't actually have time to edit it at all until Sunday. So the video came out a day later than I had planned. So actually it came out yesterday when it comes to me and my filming now. And because of that, I was annoyed, clearly. I decided I wanted to try filming even earlier and get it out the day I actually want it to be out without sacrificing my entire weekend of quiet moments with my husband and all of that. So yeah, today is actually Monday and I'm filming this now, and because of that I haven't had a week of knitting. I have only had since Wednesday. And it's been a busy week, so I don't feel like I've had a lot of knitting time. So I only have 2 whips with progress that I'm gonna show. But of course, I also had 2 finished objects, so it's not like nothing happened. It just doesn't feel right when I only have 2 whips to show. Oh well. I'll just jump in, or else we'll never get to the point. This is my Colorwork headband. And again, I'm gonna show you the inside because it's so much easier to see. I just have to flip it around. I don't know how easy it is to see. Yeah. I have gotten more than halfway, because actually the stitch that's right under my finger is the middle stitch of this entire thing, so it's gonna be real thick. This is already enough to cover my ear, I think. Yeah, so it's gonna be real thick, but it all is also at the moment too wide. But since this is made out of 100% wool, my plan is to gradually wash it in slightly warmer water until not so much that it felts, but hopefully it shrinks a bit. So both the pattern will be easier to see, hopefully, and also it will tighten up a bit, because at the moment it is too wide. It's gonna be too big for me if this is the final measurements. Though it was really difficult to not end up with that problem, because the stitch count for the star is, the pattern is like 24 stitches or something. I mean, I did make it myself, so I could have adjusted the amount of I don't know, like amount of stitches in each star or something, but I really did like the pattern I had not written up, but like drawn, and I really wanted to do that, so yeah. Of course, I didn't know it would be this big, because the last version was 1 star shorter and it was way too tight. So yeah. Anyway, I'm still very pleased with it. It's just, it's taken a lot longer than I thought it would. I definitely thought I would be done by now. I thought I would finish it yesterday and just, or at least almost finish it, and then I'd be like, yeah, next week I can show it off, kind of thing. And now I'm kind of thinking like, I don't even know if I'm gonna be done with it for next podcast. But I can tell you about the yarn. This grey one is Rauma Vandre in the colorway light grey. And this one is, I have to check. It's Hogna Garn Kvil in the colorway LITLG, which is flames or fire, which is a very good name. So yeah, that's this yarn and this project. I am gonna put it away and talk about the last one. Hopefully this podcast will be a tiny bit shorter than some of the previous ones, because speaking for an hour is just a tiny bit too long, to be honest. So yeah. Now, my last project, I didn't actually expect to get this much done, but it was a very cozy project to do yesterday when my eyes were tired and I couldn't do color work anymore. The colorwork pattern on the headband is a bit difficult to see when you're tired, because the light yellow and the grey is, it's not too similar, but it's more like, I am having a bit of trouble seeing it late at night when you're tired. I think that's the main point. I'm tired. And double knitting with colorwork does mean that you always knit both colors, because you either knit the front or the back with one of them, and then just looking at the colors on the needle, you get confused because you're tired. Yeah. But anyway, I had to stop in the middle of a row because I literally ran out of yarn. So the needles are at a bit of an awkward point, but I do hope you can still see my project. So yeah, I have knit, yeah, quite a lot actually, here in the front. This is my textured green sweater, or green textured sweater. Yeah, depending on how you would want to say it. Where is this attached? Oh yeah, it is. Oh yeah, that's right. I just tied some of the ends together because I didn't bother to weave them in. But yeah, I have gotten a bit further, though I'm not as far in the front as I am in the back still. I am halfway through this diamond pattern, which I can actually show you how it is supposed to look at the back. And in the back I have knit more than halfway through the diamond pattern and also started back up with the twisted rib. So at the moment, when I align the sides, you can see that I'm missing like approximately this amount for them to be equal in the front and back. Though I do suspect that I'm just gonna continue with the back and do the increases. No, I have to try it on at some point. I haven't tried it on at all yet, and I do want to knit the front so it's equal length to the back, so it's easier to see if I did actually do the shoulder construction in a way that's feasible and also will look good when I wear it. And then I can also see how much I have to increase to get the armhole depth I need. Which at the moment I can actually, because I see my measuring tape, so I can try and see how deep my armhole is gonna be at the moment. Cause right now this was not easy to measure. Oh yeah, that's nice. It is approximately 19 centimeters or 7.5 inches before I started increasing to get them under the arm. And when I do get, I think 22 centimeters is the appropriate length. I'm pretty certain. 22, yeah, I think 22. Then I'm just gonna cast on the extra stitches I need to actually connect them in the ground. And at the moment, with the increase I've made so far, I do believe that I'm at 21, I think. Yeah, 21. So I do think 3 more rounds and I can actually connect them in the back and front. When I'm done with the front panel, of course. But just 3 more rounds in the back would be great, because that means that if I just slip these stitches that I didn't have enough yarn for, and then continue with the back for those rows, I can actually cut the yarn for the back and use it to continue with the front, and then just continue knitting in the round when they are equal. And I do think I would prefer that to connecting another ball of yarn. So I'm actually just gonna do that right now. I'm gonna leave this tail here. I'm gonna put it in the front actually, so I can see it when I need to attach the yarn, or when I'm going back to the front, since it won't be that long. I will probably finish the back today, I think, and then I'll just slip it on, see that it fits the way I want it to, at least in the back. Then I'll knit up the front, and as soon as the front is correct length, I'll just add the stitches I need to connect the front and the back. And I just happened to be closer to the correct side. So now I can actually just continue with the back panel straight away. Nice. Very nice. But yeah, I'm gonna show you now that they are kind of more like separate again. I can show you the back more clearly, and I can show you the back the correct way. So this is very difficult to see what you see at the same time, but yeah, it's gonna be kind of like this, the back. So you will have this stitches in the back, and you will see some of the diamond pattern from the front panel. I think that's a very nice detail. And then this diamond pattern is at the top, and some garter stitch border, and then this panel with twisted rib. And then it goes between panels of twisted rib and diamonds all the way down. So yeah, I will move my stitch markers down so I won't forget. I now have 2 stitch markers, one for the front and one for the back, mostly just to make it easier to show how much I've done, or rather remind myself how much I've done. In case I haven't knitted all, I can like just look at it and see like, yeah, no, I haven't touched that, and maybe even find the motivation to then actually do knit on it. Let me see, there it is. Yes, now it's attached again. So yeah, hopefully next time you see this I will be done with the back, and maybe even the front, and connected them in the round. That would be really nice. But I don't think this is my top priority knit. I do want to get done with headband, so I don't have any more small projects. Oh, I forgot to say, this is made out of Sandnes Garn Smart, which is 100% superwash wool. And the colorway is Sjøgrønn. Yes. I do hope that next time I will have connected it in the round, but this is not the highest priority knit. I want all of my small projects off the needles. So as soon as I'm done with the headband, I'm gonna continue with my sister-in-law's socks, and maybe cast on a pair of socks for myself, because I want more socks. I desperately want more socks. And I'm really trying to be better at knitting socks. Also, they're relatively small projects, so I might have them more frequent as finished objects too, which would be very nice. Anyway, I also have way too much sock yarn not to use, so most likely I will use this one at the top. I've been drawn toward that one the most at the moment. The balls of yarn that are wound up are actually two pink ones, one orange and one that's red orange, which I'm not drawn towards them at all at the moment. And I also have the grey and dark blue, and then this one that's blue and green and some other colors, and I think that would be very nice. Though I do not know if that would look good in a cable pattern, but perhaps I should just buckle down and knit more vanilla socks, so I would have more to choose from. Because I have noticed that I do get very cold feet, so I would like to have more warm socks. But yeah, so the priority are get the headband done first, then work on my sister-in-law's socks that I started right after Christmas. Which, wow, that's like 2 months ago, or 1.5, but like, seriously. I should have gotten a lot further with those, considering they're my own pattern under the oak socks. So yeah, I should really have gotten further with those. But they're not for me, so I'm not as motivated. I know that. And I'm gonna start a pair of socks for me, and then the sweater will be the priority. Though I will knit on the sweater in between because it gives me a lot of joy, and I think kind of the point of having a hobby like this is to enjoy it. So yeah. Okay, I have been rambling a lot and it's getting real late. Trying to film podcasts after work, after dinner, all of that. Not that easy. So yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm very, very pleased with my 3 finished objects. I mean, one of the socks have been done quite a long time, and aren't you just impressed with how the blocking has like transformed these socks? Because like, it did not look this good last time I showed it to you. It was like scrunched up, and yeah, perhaps that's why I wasn't so happy with it, because it was still like laying like this, but not even flat. It was like scrunched up with the slip stitch heel. But yeah, now it looks so good and it sits so well on the foot, except for the gusset decreases that are too rapid. But I did those gusset decreases in probably like October or November, and that was before I launched or even knit my what was it before? I don't even know anymore. At least I know I didn't think about gusset decreases when I did these socks. I did think about them a lot while knitting my under the oak socks, because I noticed that they were too tight, so I had to figure out a formula to like how often should you decrease to still make it within the correct color stripes and all of that. So yeah, that's the last I'm going to talk about socks for a little while, and I must say I can't wait to use them. I'm going to tell you all about it next week, with how well they're worn and how cozy they are. Yeah, probably even going to wear them next week. So yeah, that's all I have for this. This happens every episode. Always some yarn fuzz on my nose. I'm sorry. But yeah, I almost made it through. So yeah, thank you all for watching this episode. I do hope you have enjoyed it. Please subscribe, please like the video, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!